Well, hi everyone. Happy Thursday. This is Make It Personal. I say that because all the words I say to you and teach you, I want you to make it personal. I don't want you just to say, hey, Pastor Carol said this and I thought it sounded great. No, make it personal. Make it your own. I can't have a relationship with God on your behalf. I can't learn for you, and I can't be responsible for your own salvation. You got to work out your own salvation, and it's your responsibility to have a relationship with God, and I do hope you do that. Today, I would like you to read 1 Corinthians chapter 13 in its entirety, and I want you to read the first verse of chapter 14. Remember this, and if you didn't know this, when the Bible was written, they didn't have chapters and verses. That didn't happen until hundreds of years later. Between the 500 and 900 AD, a group of scribes called the Masoretes decided to help modernize the Bible a bit, and that's really how we get our layout. But chapter breaks can really interrupt thoughts that weren't meant to be interrupted. So I encourage you, when you're reading the Bible, don't just look at chapters, look at thoughts, look at this is a passage. And so I do encourage you to read that chapter when we're completed here. It's talking about love. And I do want to highlight chapter 13, verse 8 that says, love never fails. This is talking about the agape love, the unconditional love that emanates from our Father in heaven. Ask yourself this, what is unconditional love? Well, number one, unconditional love only exists if it's unconditional. You know, it should be from the point of view that says, whatever you do, whatever you say, God always loves you. But what about you? Do you have a line you've drawn in the sand that says, if someone crosses this, I can't love them anymore? Because if that's the case, you don't have agape love. You do not have the love of God. You know, you don't have to like everybody. You don't have to tolerate everybody. You don't have to accept bad behavior. But loving them unconditionally. Turn to 1 John chapter 4, and I'm going to start in verse 7. It says, Beloved, let us love one another, for love is from God, and everyone who loves is born of God and knows God. The one who does not love does not know God, for God is love. By this love of God was manifested in us, that God sent his only begotten Son into the world so that we might live through him. In this is love. Not so that we love, but that he loved us, and he sent his Son to be the propitiation of our sins. Beloved, if God so loved us, we ought to love one another. And you can continue reading, but I'm going to skip down to verse 21. It says this, And this commandment we have from him, that the one who loves God should love his brother also. Love is a choice, but it's also a command of the will of God. And I consider it in my personal life not a choice, because then I tend to think too much about it. I consider it my duty given to me by my Almighty Father to love my brothers, to love my sisters, because that's the commandment. And if I do that, I'm known of God, and that's the real goal. If in a single breath someone claims to love, I love God, I love people, but they profess hate and strife, contention, division, they don't know God the way they think they do. If God is in you, if his love is in you, it will change you. Trust me on that. God bless.